Scott, you want to roll this off the stand for me? You can get that stand out of the way. Yeah. Will you hold the handlebar here? Why don't you come around this side so the cameras can still see what we got here. On the back of the bike, what's really good about this video, that's going to be good about this video that we can never explain in words, is what does it look like, you know? And that's one of the things that coming to a class instead of reading a book will do for you. You can't see, and that was one of the things. I don't even have to touch a bike. I can let somebody push on it. I can sit in a chair 20 feet away and I'll tell you whether it'll go around a racetrack ride or not, because I just know what it should look like, right? So remember we talk about free sag in the bike, and we want to have free sag, right? See this lift? You should be able to come up to the bike and lift the bike, right? That's your free sag. Now, all the time I have people come and say, oh, measure my sag, I got 30 millimeters, no problem. I'll get on the bike, it won't move, right? When you get on your bike, it should drop. I mean, just standing on it, you don't even have to sit on it. It should drop. See that bike move? Right? Now, if you come up and push on a peg, it should move, right? You shouldn't have to push real hard to get this thing to move. You should be able to, chassis should be free on the top. Now, the number one rule of thumb is, if you don't have free sag, you got it wrong. You just missed, you know, and I know it sounds simple, hold the tape up and move the thing. It just isn't that simple, because people come to me all the time and say, I've set it, and it's just awful. It's just stiff as a board, and they always miss on the stiff side. I've never had somebody bring me a bike that was too soft, right? So kind of the plain old American mentality of more is better, right? If there's a knob, turn it up, it's going to be better, right? So this is your idiot-proof test. If your bike doesn't do this, you missed, right? It should lift. And that's particularly with stock springs, where I told you they're soft and you might have to crank them up some, you may miss out on this, right? It may not be there. But if you've actually consulted a suspension shop and they've said, here, put this on your bike, and it doesn't do this, you've over-tightened the spring, okay? And so loosen it up until it does that, right? So, and then we're going to assume we've set this, and when I get on it, we get about 30 millimeters of sag, you know, from the fully extended position, all right? Now, what should it look like? Well, we're going to start with a rebound adjuster, and basically what we want is the bike to respond as quickly as possible, but in a controlled manner, all right? Now, particularly in the terms of rebound damping, less is more. You want to run as little damping as possible and have the bike work properly and be controlled, right? So what we're looking for, I've kind of got my own little system of pushing on a bike. I'll put my left foot up on the peg, hand on the seat, and I'll put my hand on the pipe, but it's for balance. You don't want to really put too much weight on it, because typically these things are pretty delicately mounted. And so you're just kind of trying to balance yourself a little bit, right? You're really trying to push down on the peg and put the weight in, right? Now, if you want to feel the top and the low speed damping, right, you just need to push and watch a little bit, right, and see what it does, right? To get into the bottom of the stroke and see more what the shock is going to act like if it gets really stroked hard, you need to get your weight up over the center of the bike, out over the back if you can, and really try and bury it, right? So like this. Now in the case of this one, we got a pipe touching the thing, and this is important. You'll see pipes touch sometimes, right? And that's what that clunk was, right? So you can just kind of tug them out, right? Now, so I'm getting my weight up over the bike, I'm out over the back because I want to get some leverage on it, and I want to really smash it hard, right? So see, what we're looking for is this quick response, right? Right now, remember the rebound adjuster's at the base of the shock, right? Now here's going to be slow. You see it barely want to move back at all, right? It's like watching paint dry almost, right? It's completely stuck and unresponsive, right? That's one extreme. Now we'll go to the other one. All right. Now this one will just be more like it wants to oscillate, right? In fact, if you keep your weight, it'll just bounce while you're on it, right? You know what I'm saying? So I try and get my weight out of the way when I'm doing this, because I want to watch how fast it comes back. But if you can sort of leave a little weight on it and it wants to bounce, continue to oscillate, that's a sign it's just too fast, right? Now, not enough rebound damping will frequently show up on your tire. It'll spin. you may not even be conscious that it's spinning. Sometimes you will be, and you'll know it's a problem. But it'll show up on your tire. It'll show up on your tire about an inch off of one side of the tire, right? You'll see ripples, like a patch of the thing tearing as the tire is spinning, right? And that's typically that the shock isn't dampened enough, right? Now, if you have one of these two situations, this can be the result of too much, but you know what too much looks like, right? People have a question about it as to what not enough is. Too much is pretty obvious. Compression damping. In the case of this shock, this bike has a triple adjustable Penske shock, but I'll still be able to exaggerate what we're doing, even with just with a low speed adjuster, right? Because we're going to be able to make it look really stiff. You've been watching this as I bounce on it, right? Now, when I come back and I've got the compression very stiff, right? It hardly wants to move when I push on it, right? And when I go to push on it, it won't stroke, but an inch or an inch and a half, and that's when I'm really putting some steam at it, right? Soft, it'll just blow right through. I don't have any problem pushing it almost right to the bumper, right down to the bumper on the bottom of the shock, okay? Now, particularly if you buy an aftermarket shock from a suspension shop, you'll get baseline settings. You're not going to be completely in the dark. We'll tell you, put it here, all right? Good, and it'll be good enough that anybody could ride it and go fast, all right? So from there, you want to tune your settings, but I suggest that you do just what I'm doing. Go home, get your bike, put the knobs all the way hard, all the way soft, and start feeling what this stuff feels like. The only way you can learn what your bike is doing or what it feels like is you got to start pushing on it yourself, right? This is all, sense of my bike, what it feels like, right? So what we're looking for on compression is basically a firm feel. Not too stiff, shouldn't be rigid, just to have a firm feel. You should know it's there, right? You shouldn't be able to blow the shock through its stroke, and it should put up some resistance, okay?